Shift Talk TV, how we doing today? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to a little garage update with me, Dominic Trolio, your host of Shift Talk TV. Couldn't be more grateful to have you here today. If you've been enjoying the content so far, I really appreciate it. It does not go unnoticed from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for being a subscriber. And if you're not already a subscriber, I would love to have you as one. Please go ahead and make sure to smash that subscribe button down below. Join the channel. That way you can be updated on our most current content and what is going on. So without further ado, let's go ahead and let's jump right into today's video. Many of you have probably been wondering, what happened to Dominic and Shift Talk TV and the Corvette? I've been wondering the same, honestly. And guys, I apologize. There has been a severe lack of content, including the C8 Corvette Z06. But however, there is a reason for that. Aside from a ton of family stuff that's been going on, unfortunately, I come here to announce that the C8 Corvette Z06 has actually left the garage. Now, before we dive more into that, I want to show you guys this really cool gift that I was sent by Corvette for ordering one of the brand new Corvette C8 Z06s. It is a true piece of memorabilia, something that I'm going to keep on my desk forever. I think it's super sweet, and it'll be a great reminder of how amazing that car was. And as soon as I show you guys that, let's jump into an update of what's coming next and why I sold it. All right, y'all, I figured it would be easiest if I sat on the ground here so I could prop the camera up and show you guys nice and clearly. So here is what I was sent from Corvette. Super nice black box. It's got a nice texture to it. Corvette clearly put some money into these, which, you know, as you would hope they would, considering, you know, the markups most people were paying on the car, $20, $30, $40, $50,000, including myself. I'd not go short of that, but I'll get you guys a little more information on that here in just a second. But nonetheless, the box is, it's a really nice box. Got the Corvette emblem. Not sure if you can see that right there on the front, which is pretty cool. And then it opens up like so. When you open up the box, you've got your colored packaging of the color of your car that you spec'd, which is pretty cool. Ours was torch red, so my box is red. You open this up, you got this nice cool sorry about that, y'all. This nice cool Z06 with actually a VIN badge, which is pretty cool there. And then you go ahead and you open this puppy up. This Z06 is like a cool magazine, shows you your color again. It's got a lot of different information on the car and the development processes, talks about the engine and what Corvette went through in order to build it. Talked about the history of the Z06 a little bit. I think that's like a actually, I don't even know what model that is. 2001 to 2004. I think it's a C5. But then you go ahead and you open up this. They actually gave us all a little certificate to go driving at the Ron Fellows Performance Driving School Academy. This exclusive offer is for a reduced rate of $1,000 for the 2-day program, not including travel costs. Expires next year, so pretty good deal. I think that's a nice offer. Very kind of them. I'll definitely be taking them up on it. But now the moment we have all been waiting for. What is in the box? So you pull out this cool box here. You got a little, it's hard to see, a little outline of actually the Z06, and there's a reason for that. This all drops down, and you got the nicest paperweight you have ever seen. Maybe aside from the Koenigsegg ones, but removable little car. It's like a die-cast model of the Z06. It shows your color. Pretty cool. We got the quad exhausts. I'd say it's pretty accurate. But then they put your VIN again on the glass, and it says Z06. So nonetheless, thank you so much, Stonebriar Chevrolet. I appreciate you guys and all that you've done to help me out, as well as helping me out with the car. Thank you so much, Chevy, and thank you, Corvette, for sending these out to everyone. I'm not anyone special. We all got one of these, but they're still pretty cool. So now let's go ahead and let's talk about why I sold the Z06 and what I got next. So, Shift Talk TV family, I'm sorry if I let y'all down. Sorry I didn't get a ton of content out with the C8 Corvette Z06, but it is with a heavy heart today that I announce it has moved on to a new home. And there are some reasons why, but I think you guys are going to be really happy with the change. I don't want to say I upgraded. I don't know if that's the term I would use, but I I personally feel I upgraded. I'm curious to see what you guys think. Why don't you let me know in the comments if you think I made a great decision, you don't really care, or I'm an absolute idiot for getting rid of the C8 Corvette Z06 for what I'm about to show you guys that I got instead. So let's talk a little bit about the whole story of the C8 Corvette Z06, what happened, why I made the decisions I did, and kind of what the timeline was. So let's start with the beginning. So first off, I bought the car initially as an investment. I'm just going to be quite frank and honest with you guys, as I'm sure a lot of people did. You know, the values on those C8 Corvette Z06s were just skyrocketing, and so my initial idea was to purchase it, drive it for a while, 6 months or a year or so, enjoy it, put some miles on it, maybe 2,000-3,000 miles, sell it for maybe a $15,000-$20,000 profit. Was somewhere in the ballpark of what I was expecting. You know, initially saw a lot of them mainly with the Z07 package with you know, the carbon wing and the carbon arrow and the carbon wheels, all those different things. A lot of those were going for about $100,000 over sticker. So, you know, most of the specs were somewhere in the ballpark of about 130 or so, and a lot of them were selling above, you know, 220, 230, somewhere in that ballpark. And then they started to kind of trickle down over time. And so initially, like I said, I bought it as an investment. So keep that in mind. I met this gentleman. I will leave him nameless for this video because it doesn't matter. We'll call him John. So I met John in a parking lot, and John actually had one of the first Z06 Corvettes in the state of Texas. And I was like, dude, where did you get that thing? It sounds absolutely amazing. I had never seen one before, and I was super, super excited. And he said, funny enough, actually, the guy who's behind me in line actually cannot afford the car anymore, and his allocation is about to come up. And I was like, huh, interesting. Let me get your number, John. So I get John's number, and I call the dealership, and long story short, I happened to time it perfectly where this gentleman literally had called the day before that I had met John. He had said that he was going to give up the allocation. They needed someone else to fill in the spot, and I was lucky enough to come from a referral from John, and I got connected with the dealership. I called them, and I said, hey, what would it take to get my hands on a Z06 allocation? And they said, hey, funny enough, John's friend isn't buying his anymore, and you can actually just have his spot since you're a friend of John's. And I was like, okay, great. So put my $5,000 deposit down, and I started the waiting game. So, fun fact, I've actually always wanted to have a YouTube channel. I didn't know what I was going to make it about, but I always loved watching guys like Vehicle Virgins, Parker Nierenstein, James the Stradman, you know, a lot of different people like that, Doug DeMuro, you know, the list goes on and on. But all those really, really great famous YouTubers, I'm super passionate about cars, as I'm sure many of you who follow me are. And so I was always watching their videos and always was wondering, you know, how can I be like these guys? How can I have all these amazing cars and just live the life of traveling and documenting the cars and reviewing them? You know, obviously on camera it seems kind of like a dream life. Now we all know it's not necessarily everything that the camera makes it out to be, but nonetheless I was young and dumb, and that's what I wanted to do. So I had always thought, you know, how am I going to start a YouTube channel? Well, this allocation situation pops up, and I was like, you know what, maybe it's a sign that I should start my YouTube channel all based around the C8 Corvette Z06. I mean, what a great thing to make content about. It was new, not a lot of people had one. There were the videos that were being produced were getting a lot of views, so I thought, you know what, this is a great place to start. I'll get the car, I'll start with making content about the Z06, and then I can move into other things, you know, my jet skiing, my S2000, other cars in our collection, dirt bikes, motorsports, go-karting, whatever it may be, and it kind of unfolded from there. So the allocation pops up finally, and I wanted to spec the car. They ended up telling me that I was not able to spec the car. The allocation had already been previously spec'd by John's buddy, and there was no changes allowed to it. So basically I was given the torch red 2LZ with the black rims and the black interior. Personally, I don't know if it would have been the spec that I would have done, but I was really happy with it, and I was just happy to get the car, period. So they say you can't change it, but if you want it, you can have it. And then I find out after that that the price is going to be $50,000 over sticker. Now, that was definitely a shock to me because I wanted to keep it around somewhere in the ballpark of about $30,000 over sticker. That way it still left me a little bit of margin, like I was saying, to drive it and, you know, still maybe make that 15 or 20,000. Heck, I was, you know, even happy to just break even, but obviously ideally would have made, you know, nice 20 grand on the car and gotten to drive it. So find the information out that they're $50,000 over sticker, but I was told that I was going to be a very early allocation. I was going to have one of the first ones in Texas, somewhere in the ballpark of the first 10, most likely though the first 5, obviously aside from John. So at the time when I found out this information about the $50,000 over sticker, they were still selling for a pretty large premium, mainly though, I'll say conservatively 50 to 70,000. So my margin was shrinking as I had already committed to getting the car and the time was approaching. Well, the allocation comes up and the car gets built in a pretty quick time frame. I'd say it was like maybe a month or two, honestly, for it to come out of production. Y'all will have to watch my old videos on the channel about, you know, the production process and when I ordered it and all the fun stuff. But it was about, you know, like I said, 1 to 2 months until it showed up. So the car shows up, great. I am stoked. It is absolutely off the hook. It sounds great. It looks great. Honestly, the red, it looked like a Ferrari a little bit. I don't want to be a poser, but it did look like a Ferrari. I don't own a Ferrari. I've never owned a Ferrari, so I was happy to have it. And nonetheless, I mean, the sound, the power, everything about it, it was really an amazing car. And I don't want you guys to get confused just because I made that video, you know, 5 things I hate about the car and all that. I'm strictly putting that out for information purposes, some of the things that frustrated me with it. But overall, the car was 10 out of 10, maybe 9 out of 10. It was an amazing vehicle. Honestly, my biggest problem with it was 1, the values were tanking, and 2, the emblem on the steering wheel. No matter how good it looks, how good it performs, at the end of the day, it's always going to be a Corvette. Yeah, I know all you Corvette lovers are going to say I'm an idiot for saying that, but a Corvette's never going to be a Ferrari, it's never going to be a Lamborghini, and it's never going to be a Porsche. So we need to stop trying. We can add McLaren to that mix too. But again, performance and everything, looks and price, you can't beat it. So I get the car, I'm super happy, and then boom, engine ticking issues start. Not on my car, but on a lot of the other cars. And again, I have one of the early ones. So I'm starting to get a little bit worried. Then all of the capacity issues and the production delays and the constraints and things are starting to be released. They're making more and more cars. The premiums are starting to drop. The sale prices are starting to drop. More of them are flooding the market. All these issues with the warranties on the pre-sales. So you can see all these different factors were starting to play in against me. So I am still, though, under, at this point in time, my 6-month constriction period of when I'm not supposed to sell the car. And so I'm doing my best to hold out for the 6 months, but still not lose my rear when I resell the car, because again, I paid $50,000 over sticker. So as time goes on and the economy is getting worse and interest rates are starting to rise, the car market is slowing because car loans are getting more expensive, people are making less money, getting laid off from their jobs, goods are more expensive, you know, all the fun things that come in with a bad economy. I made the executive decision that I had to get out of the car. I was like, you know what, I'm going to end up taking a massive loss on this thing if I don't just cut my ties sooner than later, even if I have to sell it before the 6-month mark. So then I posted it for sale. I started using one of my friends who is a car broker. We were calling all these people around the country, and it turns out the demand for the C8 Corvette Z06 was not everything in actuality, or in reality, I guess you could say, as it was made out to be on the internet. Ideally, I sold it for, you know, $195 or $200, but the number I needed was about $175, $178, right around there. So I posted it for sale, and nothing. I think I got like 1 or 2 bites over like a 2-month period. I posted it early, and what I was going to do was go under contract with someone and say, hey, we're not going to transfer it until the 6-month mark. That way you can have the warranty. And so like I said, you know, I really only get like 2 to 3 bites on the car. So I start to panic, I'm not going to lie. The offers I was getting were somewhere in the ballpark of about $20,000 to $30,000 over asking. So I was going to take, you know, $20,000, $30,000 haircut, including the taxes. That was not something I was initially expecting. As you guys know, I was initially expecting to make $15,000 or $20,000, not lose $15,000 to $30,000. So with that being said, I started to I guess, expedite the process, you could say. So I started calling dealers all over the country, and I found my best solution was going to be to do a trade-in. So I started looking for cars basically around the $200,000 price point. And with that being said, you know, the $200,000 price point has a lot of really great cars, a lot of Porsches, McLarens, some used Ferraris, Huracans, there were some Uruses I was looking at. But long story short, there's not a lot of people that want to trade a Z06 for a Lamborghini Huracan, and I don't necessarily blame them. And the Huracans I was looking at were like 2016, 2017 Huracans, high mileage, not necessarily a 2023 Z06 with a warranty and only 2,000 miles. So I was having some issues there on, you know, reliability, things I wanted to jump into, and quite frankly, they didn't even want to give me the trade-in price that I want. I had called at this point probably about 50 to 75 car dealerships, and I had made up my mind that I wanted to get a Porsche. I felt that a Porsche GT3 was going to be the easiest thing to trade for. They're reliable, they hold their value, they're great to drive, they sound off the hook, they're excellent for tracking, tons of things you can modify, and overall I felt it would be a great car to bring to the channel. Then find the cheapest Porsche 911 GT3 RS in the country at only about $180,000. Well, as you guys know, that was roughly what I wanted for the Corvette. So I end up striking a deal with this amazing dealership out of New Jersey on the cheapest 911 GT3 RS in the entire country. Now, it is a clean title. It has never been wrecked. It's actually immaculate, but that is the announcement. I did buy a 2016 991.1 GT3 RS in lava orange. So let's go ahead and I'll flash to these clips and show y'all how sweet it is. Shift Talk TV subscribers, y'all are absolutely the best. I appreciate you so much. If you liked this video, please make sure to smash that like button and that subscribe button so you can go ahead, follow along for more content. But now I don't have to hide things. Welcome back to Shift Talk TV. Welcome to the channel, the newest edition, the 991.1 GT3 RS with a flat 6, full 5-speed exhaust. It is off the hook, and I can't wait to welcome y'all back onto the next video when we unveil this amazing car. But until then, subscribe and I'll catch you on the next video.